Well, welcome back. This is video 8 of 9 looking at the political frame. And what we're going to be doing during this particular video is looking at the idea of organizations as political arenas and political agents. And then we'll dig in a little bit more on the political arena idea, looking from a top-down and bottom-up approach. All right, so that's the agenda for this particular video. Let's dig in real quickly. And here we have the idea of a political arena and political agents. So as arenas, they're housing an area where we have this ongoing interplay between players and agendas. And it's not a rational expression. The organizational design is not a rational expression, but instead a political embodiment of contending claims for resources. All right, and you have this kind of tension between directives that are coming from above and pressures that are coming from below. So that's that idea of a political arena where you've got these agents that have differing degrees of power. They're all acting with some degree of free will to move their agenda forward. And then you have this idea as organizations as political agents. And so they have the ability to influence other organizations to work within an ecosystem, if you will, and to pursue their goals through that ecosystem. All right, let's start with a look at this from kind of the bottom-up approach. And so as you're looking at arenas and a source of political power, again, we've seen lots of examples in the press in terms of uprising, in terms of the Green Movement, in terms of really civil rights movement in the United States. So you often see this period of rising expectations followed by widespread disappointment that those expectations are not met. And I always like to talk about this particular ongoing transformation by showing a map of the world lit up at night. And the areas that are lit up, I'm not as much worried about. Those areas that are not lit up, they're going to be lit up over the next 10 to 15 years. And as that happens, oftentimes there is this period of rising expectations as technology comes in, as electricity, as other modern conveniences. But there's this period of rising expectations followed by widespread disappointment because that transformation takes time. It's not overnight. And I'm always drawn to some of the stark contrasts. If you look over to the far right, the 38th parallel in Korea is very, very clear. It's almost like that someone drew a line across the map. All right, so we've talked a little bit about sources of political power. We've talked about it from a mechanism of a bottom-up type of movement, and it's something that I think we're going to see more of. Technology is enabling this kind of crowdsourcing of ideas and of movements forward. So there are more and more tools in the arsenal for a bottoms-up, a partisan approach to political power. But while that's going on, you also have political power being manifested in a top-down manner. And so you kind of got this pattern over to the right there. And I have to tell you, I've fallen into this trap myself a number of times where I go out and I work and I fight and I try to find money. I know it's for a good idea, and it's for the departments or the institutions underneath me. We have a small group develop the solution, we announce it with pride, and then we're just stunned that the subordinate organizations are not happy about it at all. And there's resistance and criticism and anger because they were not involved and because it doesn't exactly meet their needs. And then administrations typically interpret this as defensiveness or an unwillingness to change when in fact they've set up the whole cycle themselves by the mechanism by which it was rolled out. There are also some sources of political power top-down that are changing. If you look at and we'll actually talk about this in a couple of slides about the ecosystem in which companies operate. There's been a narrowing of wealth in the number of just a couple of companies, and that gives them tremendous ability to invest not only in the economic ecosystem, but within the political ecosystem. And we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years changes in the amount of money that people can donate to political parties or to PACs, and how that has generated tremendous power in the for those PACs, because they're able to marshal a tremendous amount of money within those organizations. All right, well, that brings us to a close for this particular video. We've only got one more left, and so what we'll do during this video, we've talked about organizations as political arenas and as political agents. We've talked about sources of political power coming bottom up and top down. And what we'll do in the next video is explore more of this idea of organizations as political agents that are working within an ecosystem. So study hard, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.